Grayson County and Edmonson County in a 12th District matchup here from Donley Field. It's a little chilly evening, but the heat around this matchup is definitely here. And a good evening here, and welcome to Grayson County High School for, again, like I said, it's Grayson County, Edmonson County. You never know what might happen. And you really we can't write the story. We're just going to figure out what happens between the 7-9 Grayson County Cougars, who picked up the 2 wins in district play last week against Whitesville Trinity, taking on Edmonson County, 9-9. They are 2-2 in the 12th district of play. This is a huge opportunity for this Grayson County team to try and take down their arch rival and pick up their 3rd district win of the year. They're getting ready to jump into the national anthem, so we'll take a break and give you the starting lineups of this game and get you ready for the first pitch after this. This is Cougar Baseball right here on K105 Digital Productions. Grayson County and Edmonson County here in a 12th District matchup. Sam Gormley with you here on the call. Let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Wildcats from Edmonson County, leading off in center field is Darren Alexander. Batting second, the starting pitcher is Hunter Wilson. The 3-hole hitter will be the first baseman, Andrew Talley. Batting fourth and catching is Dakota Curtis. The 5-hole hitter will be the second baseman, Levi Meredith. Batting sixth, the designated hitter is Ty Brantley. He will hit in place of Will Alexander, who will be the shortstop. Lane Ashley will be the right fielder. He will bat 7th. The 8-hole hitter will be the third baseman, Cam Lick. And batting 9th and playing left field is Alex Elkins. Once more, that starting lineup for Edmonson County is Alexander in center, Wilson as the starting pitcher, Talley at first, Curtis as the catcher, Meredith at second, Brantley the designated hitter, Ashley in right, Lick behind the plates, or Lick at third, and Elkins as the left fielder. The starting lineup for Grayson County. Leading off behind the dish is Landon Haycraft. Batting second in center field is Jaron Van Meter. The 3-hole hitter will be the first baseman, Camden Brothers. Batting fourth in right field is Landon Shirella. The 5-hole hitter will be the third baseman, Eli Watson. Batting sixth at second is Levi Rogers. The 7-hole hitter will be the designated hitter, Andrew Butler. The 8-hole hitter will be the left fielder, Hunter Felty. And batting ninth at shortstop is Chase Bonnock. Gage Napier will be the starting pitcher for the Cougs of Grayson County. 7-9 is Grayson County's record. They're playing their best baseball of the season coming into today's game, as they have won 4 of their last 5 games, dating back to the last time we saw this team play when they picked up a win against Warren Central. Their lone loss during that stretch came to a Meade County team who's one of the top teams in the region. That's not a loss that you necessarily hang your hat on. So it's time for baseball in Litchfield, the 12th district game here between the Grayson County Cougars and the Edmonson County Wildcats. Starting pitcher for Grayson County is Gage Napier. On the season, 7 games, 5 starts, a record of 3-3, ERA of 2.52, 43 strikeouts, and only 14 walks. The leadoff hitter will be for Edmonson County, Darren Alexander. And the first pitch coming from the freshman Gage Napier is popped straight up out of play to the left side, and that is how this game gets underway. Official start time, 5:58 p.m. 57 degrees here in beautiful Litchfield, Kentucky. Alexander on the season hitting .286, 6 runs batted in. He is a guy that when he gets on base will be active, as Napier was going in for the windup, and our home plate umpire for today's game, Tommy Burris, he wasn't quite ready. He was still putting on his mask, so he had to step out of the box. The 0-1 coming here from Napier, swing and a miss. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes here early on in this game to Alexander. Edmonson County 9-9 is their record. They're 2-2 in 12th district action so far this year, as they split their series against Whitesville Trinity and against Butler County. Alexander rips one into left field. It's a long run for Felty. He's not going to get there. One bounces the wall. That's going to be a stand-up double for Darren Alexander, and the Wildcats come up firing to start this game. Doubling down that left field line, and that is how the game gets underway here today. Edmondson has the runner on second base, and it'll now be Hunter Wilson to hit for Edmondson. Wilson having himself a great season, not only just in the mound, which we'll talk about during the next half inning. 5.11 average with 1 homer, 10 doubles, a triple, and 16 runs batted in. First pitch from Napier just misses high. We mentioned Tommy Burris calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. Out in the field today is Jack Ventress. Alexander, the aggressive lead down at second. Ball knocked the shortstop, holding him on. Pitch is a fly ball right field. Shirella on his horse, goes back to the track, looks up, and it bounces off the wall. Shirella has to corral that, rounding third, and coming in to score is Alexander, and Edmonson County leads 1-0 on the double by Hunter Wilson. Wilson last year in games played against Grayson County had 8 runs batted in, and he picks off right where he let up last year, and it's the Cats on top 1-0 early. Another one of these best bats for Edmonson County now comes in to hit. It'll be Andrew Talley, .455 average with 9 doubles on the year and 18 RBIs. Pitch from Napier just misses high. Gage Napier pitched in 2 games last year against Edmonson County, and it was a story of 2 different games. As in those games, in the game played here at Donley Field, and that's fouled off into the Edmonson County dugout, he came in relief of Jaron Van Meter and went 5 2/3 of an innings, allowed no runs and 8 strikeouts. He was really, really good. He got the start in the district tournament against Edmonson County, and it was not great. 1/3 of an inning, 5 earned runs, only threw 21 pitches before being pulled in that game. It just was not his day. Talley rips that one foul. Count goes here to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Edmonson County on top of Grayson, 1-0. That was one of those days that, Gage Napier's an 8th grader, was getting a start in the biggest game of the season and just didn't have it. Napier fakes the pickoff move back at second and diving in ahead of the no tag as Wilson, as there was no throwback there by Napier. Napier a long look back there at Wilson. The pitch, swing and a miss. Talley goes down on strikes. Gage Napier gets his first strikeout of the game. And it'll now be the cleanup hitter, the catcher, Dakota Curtis. Curtis hitting .339 on the season with 5 doubles and 15 runs batted in. That ball bounces in the dirt. Haycraft can't corral it. And ball 1 will turn into a wild pitch, and Wilson advances to third. This is just one of these situations here where Grayson County needs to take a deep breath. They're going to be okay. Pitch coming high And Napier just struggling to find the strike zone early on in this game. He's throwing 11 pitches. I mean, he's 7 of them for a strike, but he's missing in spots that you don't usually see Gage missing. The 2-0. Called strike inside. That was a good pitch there by Napier. If he can establish that inside part of the zone, it's going to be a big game here for Grayson. The 2-1 coming here from Napier is fouled off. Even up the count here to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Edmonson County's already crossed 1 in the game. It was on the double by the pitcher Wilson that played at Alexander as the first 2 runners scored. The 2-2 coming here from Napier. Fouled off again. Napier's fooling Curtis as Curtis is gone back-to-back. Napier's gone to that same spot on that outside corner, and both times Curtis has just barely fouled it off. See if Napier will go back to that same pitch one more time. The break even. He does, and this time down on strikes goes Curtis. Napier said 3rd time's the charm, and that's the 2nd out in the inning. It'll be Levi Meredith, the second baseman. Meredith hitting .317 with 4 doubles and 8 runs batted in. He's looking for RBI number 9 here in this game to try and give Edmonton a 2-0 lead. First pitch from Napier, low, ball 1. You can tell Napier there after he's kind of back into this game. Not the start he wanted, but now after consecutive strikeouts, he looks like a different pitcher, more confident out there on the mound. 1-0 is popped off right side. The first baseman brothers thought about giving it a run, but then realized that one was going to go well foul. One of the 8th graders is going to have to go chase that one into the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down here in the top of the first. Edmonton on top 1-0. That's a ball high to Meredith. Meredith wears number 96. Well, more on that as the broadcast goes along, because 96 is not a number you see that often in baseball at all. The 2-1. Popped off left side. Watson chases, and it is fouled. But as Jody Nutt, though, that's exactly what you want to see, because neither one of those plays were going to be caught, but both your fielders are running because you never know when that ball, you just misread it ever so slightly, and you don't want to give your opponent another chance. The break even from Napier just misses outside, ball 3. And that one was outside. It was close. I think if you're Napier, you go right back to that spot here, because it was close enough to where it can be called strike. You want to try to establish that part of the zone. He goes fastball. It's low. And Meredith works the walk, and there'll be runners on the corners with 2 down for Ty Brantley, the designated hitter. Brantley hitting .222 with a double and 4 runs batted in. Pitch outside, ball 1. Brantley, the senior on this Edmonson County team. You've got quite a few of them, including Andrew Talley, who is one of their better hitters on the team. This Edmonson County team, they're losing a lot after this year, but they also have a really nice young core surrounded by the starting pitcher today and the man who's standing at third base with already an RBI in the game in Hunter Wilson. High and inside again. Napier, when he's missed high, and Buddy Hobby, the Grayson County pitching coach, calls time. He's going to trot out and talk with Gage Napier, and the entire infield comes in. Napier's thrown 23 pitches here in this first inning. 57% for a strike, so that's 13 strikes and 23 balls. And when he's missing high consistently, other than really the pitch that brought the walk to Meredith where he missed low. He's missing high every single time, and I'm sure that Buddy Hobby, that's probably part of what this conversation is. But then he also knows that, Gage Napier, yes, he is a freshman, but great baseball mind out on the mound. He's played a lot of baseball, and a lot of it, too, is he knows. He knows a lot of the mistakes that he's making out on the mound. He's one of those kids that you don't necessarily have to say, hey, throw strikes. It's like it's simple. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch just misses low again. 3 balls and no strikes to Ty Brantley. 1 run has already crossed the plate. You've got runners on the corners with 2 down here in the top of the first. The pitch. Called strike of the knees. That might have been the good old 3-0 Leo there as they always say is that strike zone at 3-0 does just get a little bit bigger. 3-1. Low, and the bases are loaded with 2 down here in the top half of the first inning. Lane Ashley, the 7-hole hitter, will hit. Ashley on the season, 172 average with a double and 4 runs batted in. The junior, tall, lengthy right fielder for Edmonson County. This is a big moment early on in this game here in the top of the first. Pitch is ripped right back up the middle. That's going to be a base hit, and it's going to plate at least one. It is just going to plate one as they hold Meredith at third, and the bases will remain loaded, but Edmonton County leads 2-0. Ashley wasted no time to dribble it right back up the middle, and the Cats are up 2-0 on Grayson, and it'll be Cam Lick now to hit. On the season, the third baseman, 244, 3 doubles and 5 runs batted in. Napier trying to work out of a big-time jam. Pitch fouled off. I believe that did just hit the end of the bat. So he came in with a swing, and it hit off the knob of the bat. Which does count as a foul ball. Your hands are technically part of the bat. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Napier fools him badly there, and I think if you're looking for 2 swings back-to-back for Gage Napier, those are 2 swings you have to like because he doesn't look too confident going up against the freshman. The 0-2 is a little blooper right back up the middle for a base hit. 1 run will score. That's all it'll be, but Edmonson County leads 3-0. That one was hit about, if we're talking about exit velocity, not one that had much exit velo, but it found the soft spot in the outfield grass for Grayson. And it'll now be the 9-hole hitter, the 9th man to bat in the inning, Alex Elkins, the left fielder, hitting .286 with 5 runs batted in. Outside for ball 1. You can tell Napier just a little rattled here in this inning. Just getting enough of that to foul it off was Elkins, and the count goes here to 1 ball and 1 strike. Sam Gormley here with you on the call, and what's really turned out to be a really nice evening here at Donnelly Field. It's probably going to get a little chilly as the game goes along, but in all reality, it is pretty nice out. The 1-1 is a slow dribbler right in front of the plate. Haycraft, smart play. The bases are loaded. Haycraft picks it up. He runs back and tags home. It's a force out. That's just really smart baseball by Haycraft to get out of the inning. Edmonson County, though, scores 3, and they lead 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the first. This is Cougar Baseball right here on K105. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Grayson County has an early deficit in this game as they trail 3-0. It'll be Landon Haycraft to lead off for Grayson County. It'll go Haycraft, Van Meter brothers to start against Hunter Wilson, and the first pitch from Wilson is a called strike on the outside corner. Wilson is the freshman phenom for Edmonson County. 9 games, 7 starts, a record of 3-5, an ERA of 2.97, 55 strikeouts, and 20 walks. The 0-1 fools Haycraft. He swings at one near his eyes, and the count goes here to no balls and 2 strikes. Haycraft, the leadoff hitter for Grayson, 343 average with a double and an RBI. Hasn't had many opportunities to knock guys in, but he's finding his way on base, and for the leadoff guy, it's the most important thing. But Hunter Wilson says good morning, good afternoon, good night. Pitch outside, strike 3. 3 pitches, and the first Cougar is out. And it'll be Jaron Van Meter to hit for Grayson. Van Meter has pretty much found his way as the leadoff guy for Grayson really until the last week and a half or so. And it's not been anything that Van Meter's done wrong as he's hitting .333 with a homer, a triple, and 9 runs batted in. It's a lot of it is just trying to find that right balance of speed towards the top of the order. First pitch there from Wilson is outside for ball 1. The full lineup for Grayson. It is brothers will follow Van Meter, Sherella, Watson, Rogers, Butler, Felty, and Bonnock. Wilson a long look in to the lefty Van Meter. 1-0. Little breaking ball finds that outside corner to move the count here to 1-1. Elkins in left, Alexander in center, Ashley in right. Lick, Alexander, Meredith, Talley goes from third to first. Curtis is the battery with Wilson as the starting pitcher, and that one fouls off the mask of the catcher, Curtis. And that's one of those, Curtis seems like he's okay, but that doesn't feel good. It's one of those situations where I'm very happy that as a lefty, I never had to play catcher because you just take a beating back there. The 1-2 outside for ball 1. Last time Wilson pitched was against Butler County in their loss 8-3 last week, and it's one of those games that Wilson probably wanted to forget about. He allowed 5 runs outside, and the count is now full here, 3-2 to Jaron Van Meter, who is the most patient hitter, one of the most patient hitters on this Grayson County team. He finds his way on base no matter how he can. The 3-2 just misses, and there's a walk to Jaron Van Meter. Cougars have their first base runner of the game for Camden Brothers. .353 average, 5 doubles, a triple, and 10 runs batted in. The most important thing for Camden, playing in his second game since officially announcing his commitment to play baseball at Brescia. So congratulations to Camden. Always good to see, no matter what the sport is, the Grayson County athletes taking that next step and playing in college. And he pops one straight up to the outer edge of the outfield. Alexander around shortstop makes the catch for the second out of the inning. A mile-high pop-up there, and Alexander was able to snag it. And it'll now be Landon Sherella to hit the cleanup hitter, .364 average, 3 doubles, 3 triples, and 18 runs batted in. See if Grayson County will start Jaron Van Meter, who is a perfect 15 of 15 on stolen base attempts on this season. They do. And Sherella just saws that one off, and it skirts into the Edmonson County dugout. Wilson has plus speed on the mound if we're talking about some of the pitchers that Grayson County has seen this year. It's not like he's up here just throwing a bunch of, and junk isn't the right word, but a lot of, breaking balls and stuff. He's coming with some heat. There was a breaking ball there that is a called strike at the knees. A little late strike call from the home plate umpire, but the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Edmonson leads 3-0. Van Meter a large lead down at first. He's off and running. The pitch, again fouled off by Sherella. And I could tell there that kind of look there by Jaron Van Meter. I think he's looking at Landon and saying, hey, I don't want to have to keep running. Stop fouling it off. It's kind of the continuing to run down to second on the hit. I'm not sure if it's a hit and run called or what. The 0-2 pitch fouled off again. Sherella is making Wilson work here in this bottom of the first inning. Score update to bring you. Softball, Lady Cougars up on John Hardin 11-0 through 2 innings. And if that result does hold, that'll be career win number 700 for Penny Reese. The 0-2. Van Meter off and running. The pitch is outside. Van Meter has that base stolen easily. As there was a throw by the catcher Curtis, but I'm not even sure with the jump that Van Meter had that somebody like, I mean, I'm not even sure JT Real Muto would have had a chance to throw him out. The 1-2. Fouled off into the Grayson County dugout, and that might have hit Camden Brothers in the dugout. He said walking back, hopefully, no, it looks like he's okay. If it did hit him, he's okay, or he bounced out of the way right before it did. It's the dangers of the dugout in baseball. 1-2 one more time to Shirella. Fouls it off again. Van Meter was running, so he's going to have to go on back to second. Cougars being aggressive on the base paths, which I like. You're down 3-0. Edmonson County's a team that has beaten you 4 straight times. You've got to find a way to get some runs early, especially for your pitcher, Gage Napier, who finds himself at the early deficit. The 1-2 is a high chopper to the first baseman, Talley. He'll take it himself, and that is the inning. The Cougs threaten, but can't cross any. We're through 1 full. It's Edmonton 3, Grayson 0. This is Cougar Baseball, right here on K105. Inning number 2 from Don Lee Field, Edmonson County on top 3-0. Sam Gormley here with you on the call on K105 Digital Productions. If you're watching with us on the YouTube channel, be sure you hit that red subscribe button, even if you're an Edmonson County fan watching. Obviously, Grayson Edmonson, it's going to happen a lot over these, every year. Be sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll have any Grayson Edmonson game we're going to be on the call for. Leading off this inning is the leadoff hitter, Darren Alexander, in his first at-bat. He doubled down the left field line, and the first pitch to him is a called strike from Gage Napier. And Alexander hits that into shallow center field. Running in to grab it is Van Meter for the first out of the inning. First inning for Gage Napier was kind of up and down, but he threw 33 pitches in the first, gave up 3 runs, stranded the bases loaded. So I guess when you want to try and find the positive is that it could have been a lot worse than just 3. Edmonton, the first 2, including Wilson, who is coming up here to hit, and it is high for ball 1. I mean, Alexander and Wilson made really good contact, but other than that, the contact that Edmonton was making was little slow grounders, and it was finding the open spot, which counts the same, but it's not like they were teeing off on Napier except for Wilson and Alexander. The 1-0 is fouled off behind the plate. Wilson, in his first at-bat, doubled over the head of the right fielder Landon Shirella. I thought Wilson had gotten enough for the ball to leave the ballpark. Last year when these two teams met here at Don Lee Field, Wilson did go long ball. 1-1 is outside for ball 2. Wilson last year against Grayson County, in their 3 games, he had 8 runs batted in. Outside, and of those 8, those came across 2 games. He played in all 3 of them, but in one of those games he didn't have any runs batted in. So I mean, when he hits the Cougs, he comes out firing. The 3-1 here from Gage Napier to Hunter Wilson is fouled off. This is going to be a matchup you're going to be seeing for 3 more years after this year, as both of these are two of the young freshman phenoms, not only just in the 12th district, but also in this 3rd region in this area of the state. The full count is high and inside. Wilson works a walk, and it'll now be Andrew Talley, who Napier sent down on strikes in his first at-bat. Timeout is called, and I think we're going to have a courtesy runner in place of Wilson, as the courtesy runner will be Cole Baxter. Baxter, the senior, will run in place of Wilson. Andrew Talley to hit last year in the district semifinals against Grayson, which was the last time these two teams played on the diamond. 4 for 4 with 7 runs batted in and a home run. That's what I can call getting it done. Pitch fouled off, and what happened there is it was the same thing that happened earlier, as Talley ends up fouling that off of his hands, but when he does it, he was still holding on to the bat, and as we mentioned earlier, when you do that, your hands are part of the bat, unless, I guess, theoretically, if you let go of the bat and it hits you on your hand where your hand's flying away, but it's going to be rare that you're going to get that call. And you could tell Talley was kind of shaking his hands because it does not feel good, but it's a foul ball. He fouls that off behind the plate. And the count goes here to no balls and 2 strikes. Again, as we mentioned, Grayson County softball is in action against John Hardin. They're up 11-0 at the last update that we had. Outside, the count goes here to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Long look in for Napier. He checks the runner at first and delivers the 1-2 to Talley. Is a grounder in the hole, into left field. Bonnock can't get there in time, and Felty bobbles it, and it goes through his legs and all the way to the wall. Rounding and going into third, and falling down is Baxter, and if not, Baxter looks like he was maybe going to round and try and score, but he ends up falling, and that'll be a base hit single and then an error in left field to advance the runners another base. And that is one that Hunter Felty is going to want to forget, but also Baxter, he just fell down. He got tackled by the dirt monster. And usually you don't see tackles out there in baseball. Runners now on second and third, 1 down. Edmonson on top, 3-0. Popped up left side. Watson, the third baseman, will chase, but it bounces off of the gravel behind the Edmonson County dugout. And looks like I've noticed that there's a group of younger kids that have been they've been getting into a wiffle ball game, and they went and snagged that baseball, and I think they're going to try and keep that. So we'll see how long that lasts. As there's a swing and a miss outside, the count goes here to no balls and 2 strikes. We'll see how long it takes for somebody to say, hey, this is not the MLB. You can't keep the baseballs that are fouled. The 0-2 comes outside. Nice snag by Haycraft behind the dish, as that one was way outside. Yep, here comes Grayson County Cougar team member. It's going to try and find the ball. The 1-2 is ripped into left field. Curtis, it's going back to the track. It is off the wall. Felty loses his hat, grabs it in the corner. Going into second base is Curtis, standing up, and Edmonson County leads 5-0 on the double by Dakota Curtis. We have a courtesy runner going down for Curtis, as it'll be Dalen Cook, the freshman. He's 5 of 5 on steals this year, and Edmonson has this game right where they want it at 5-0. And it'll be Levi Meredith to hit. He worked a walk in his last at-bat, and Tommy Burris is having to mark that on his lineup card to make the change, and it's probably a good thing here for Gage Napier. He now just gets a couple of seconds extra just to kind of recollect himself, because Edmonson County is hitting him early on in this game. He fools Meredith badly. We mentioned earlier in the game, Meredith, number 96. There have only been 7 players all time in Major League Baseball history that have worn the number 96, and he saws that off into deep right center field. Chiarella goes back, makes a dumping in the air catch. What a play by Landon Chiarella. He fires in, tagging to third is Cook. The ball bounces around. Camden Brothers goes and grabs it, but that's for the second out of the inning. What a play there by Landon Chiarella. I thought that one was going to be over the head, but the right fielder, Chiarella, makes a really nice play. And it'll be Ty Brantley now to hit. He walked in his last at-bat. Runner on third. Called strike at the knees. "5-0, Edmonton leads Grayson early on in the game. The 0-1 is popped off right side. Edmonson County has beaten Grayson County 4 straight times. In the previous 34 meetings between these two teams, Edmonton County had only won 4 times. So this series has flipped drastically over these last couple of years. Outside, and the count goes here to 1-2 strikes. And it really flipped in the district semifinals back in 2021 when Edmonson County won in extra innings 4-2. What was an unbelievable baseball game. And that's a little blooper caught by the first baseman Brothers, and that is the inning. Edmonson County, though, scores 2 more, and they lead Grayson County 5-0 as this is Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back to Donley Field. Grayson County finds themselves at a 5-0 deficit here in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be 5, 6, 7 in the order. Eli Watson to lead off for the Cougs against Hunter Wilson. For Grayson here, it's just, you got to get some runs. Because Gage Napier doesn't have his best stuff today. Edmonson County's hitting him well. You got to help out your pitcher. And if anything, give him a break in that dugout. First pitch is high. Ball 1 there to the hitter Eli Watson. Watson on the season for Grayson, .294, 2 homers, 4 doubles, and 14 runs batted in. He checks his swing that time as it's low and outside for ball 2. I could hear the Edmonson County faithful down to our left. They didn't agree with that call behind the dish. And Watson saws it off and fouls it off behind the plate. We were talking about it, though, as we went to break. Edmonton winning that 4 straight against Grayson. It started back in that 2021 12th District semifinals when it was 0-0 through 6 innings. As Watson fouls that off behind the plate, that'll even up the count here to 2-2 strikes. It was 0-0 through 6. Mason Miller and Chaz Wilson. Mason Miller for Grayson, Chaz Wilson for Edmonton. We're going head-to-head. And, I mean, it was a great baseball game. For those that made the trip there to Butler County is where that game was held as the break even comes to Watson. It's a slow grounder to the shortstop, Alexander. He'll throw on to first and just beats Watson by a step for the first out of the inning. But Edmonson County had a 2-run home run by Gavin Minyard that made it 2-0 in the 7th. And then Gavin Childress had a 2-run double in the bottom of the 7th to tie the game up at 2. Edmonson County would go on to score 2 more in the 8th to end up winning that game 4-2. And since that point, this series has been all Wildcats. Levi Rogers now to hit, and he fouls it off to the left side out of play. Rogers on the year for Grayson, .283, a homer, 3 doubles, and 13 runs batted in. He homered in the last home game played against Whitesville Trinity. And he saws one off into left center field. That's going to be a gapper. Watson turns, and he's going to dig for second. Getting over there quickly was Alexander, and diving into a cloud of smoke is the runner Rogers, and Grayson County has a double with one out here in the bottom of the second inning. Really good swing there by Rogers. He was thinking two all the way, and honestly, Alexander, the center fielder, got over there really quick. Andrew Butler to hit now for Grayson. And he swings at the first pitch and fouls it off right side. Butler on the year for Grayson. 300 average, 2 RBIs. He started the year playing a lot. Didn't play through the majority of the middle part of this season. And over these last week or so, has been playing a little bit more baseball. The 0-1 to Butler just misses high. Wilson checks the runner Rogers. Delivers, called strike. Butler tried to check his swing, but that one was right down Broadway. It's going to be called a strike no matter what. And the 1-2 coming here from Wilson. 5-0, Edmonson leads Grayson County. Pitch, fouled right side. Wilson, the long look in here against Andrew Butler. Butler, base hit left field. It's going to drop. Rogers is going to have the stop sign at third, and that will put runners on the corners with one down there on the base hit by Andrew Butler. Jody Nutt, the third base coach and head coach for Grayson County, he was reading that one all the way. He was backstepping, and he knew that he was going to be making that call at the last second, whether he was going to want to hold the left fielder Elkins or hold Rogers at third, or if he was going to send him. And at the last second, he did put up the stop sign, and probably the right decision. Hunter Felty will hit now for the Cougs. Felty on the season, 261, 3 RBIs. Big opportunity here for Grayson. Butler is off and running. The pitch is inside, throwing down to third instead. Rogers is in there ahead of the tag. And Butler will steal second, so you've got runners on second and third with one down. Rogers going to have to make sure he cleans the jersey there after diving in. Inside for ball 2 there to Hunter Felty. Felty steps out of the box, and he got a play call from Jody Nutt, the head coach, and he had to reach into his back pocket to pull out his little sheet of paper there to see what it is. Yeah, he's going to take his time. Luckily, this is not Major League Baseball. He might have gotten a violation there. There's a called strike inside. I guess you get one timeout per plate appearance, so he'd have been okay. He'd have been pushing it maybe a little bit, but luckily that hasn't made the way to KHSAA quite yet, and really it doesn't have any need to. Pitch low, and the count goes here to 3 balls and 1 strike. That's one of the longest times you're going to see. For the most part, I give the kids a lot of credit. Pitchers do it. And there's a called strike at the knees to Felty. The 3-2 pitch is popped off right side out of play. The 3-2 pitch, high, Felty works a walk, and the bases are loaded with one down for Chase Bonnock. This is a big opportunity here for Grayson County. The bases loaded, one down for the freshman, Chase Bonnock. He's only got 1 career RBI, but you know what? I can't think of a much better time to get your second, third, and heck, maybe even fourth. right now for Bonnock. He swings at the first pitch. You could tell, and I like that there for the freshman. He was thinking about it. He came up to the plate and he was wanting to swing at the first pitch. He says, I'm coming up swinging. The 0-1. He swings at that, and the ball is low. Standing in the on-deck circle is Landon Haycraft. And Wilson, he wanted him to run through the signs one more time. The 0-2 is a called strike 3 at the knees to Chase Bonnock for the second out of the inning. And the lineup flips over to Landon Haycraft, who saw only 3 pitches in his last at-bat. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. And it's a ground ball right to the first baseman, Talley, and that is the inning. The Cougs strand the bases loaded, and we're through 2 full. It's 5-0 Edmonton. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back to Donley Field. Grayson County trails Edmonson County 5-0 as we start the third inning of action. It'll be 7, 8, 9 in the order for the Wildcats of Edmonson County. Gage Napier out for another inning of work. And the first pitch here of this third inning of work from Napier is ripped into left field. Felty has it read, though, for the first out of the inning. Felty barely had to move out there as Wayne Ashley put a charge into that, but Felty just took a couple of steps to his right to go and grab it. And the lineup now is going to be Cam Lick. He's 1 for 1 in the game, and the first pitch low for ball 1 to him. The 1-0 is outside, and the count goes here to 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch coming here from Napier is just fouled off. We do have some news to bring, though. Coming over at the Lady Cougar softball complex, the Grayson County Lady Cougars have defeated John Hardin 16-0, and with that, head coach Penny Reese has just won her 700th career game. Outside, the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Only one other coach in the history of KHSAA softball has won 700 games. Reese, her career, we'll talk about that after this pitch here at the 3-1, is popped behind the plate foul. make the count go to 3 balls and 2 strikes. In her career, she's been named State Coach of the Year 6 times and won 3 state titles, 11 region titles, and 18 district titles. That's a pretty good career. The 3-2 pitch is popped off right side out of play. There's a high ground ball in the hole. Watson has it, throws on to first. Great play by Eli Watson to get the second out of the inning. That's a tough play for Watson going towards shortstop to make that throw, but he gets lick out at first for the second out of the inning. Alex Elkins will now hit, the 9-hole hitter. He reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat, but that was the little grounder right in front of the plate. And that's popped straight up out of play. And that's another one fouled off, and the count here goes to 0 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch coming here from Napier. The 0-2 is grounded foul into the Edmonson County dugout. Actually ends up going over top of the Edmonson County dugout, and it's rolling down the line. No balls, 2 strikes. One more time here coming in the top of the third. Ripped down the third base line. It's going to go all the way into the corner. Felty's got it, and that is just going to be a long single, though, for Elkins, as Felty got there really quick to hold the runner just to 1. And the lineup flips back over now to Darren Alexander. Alexander, the center fielder, he's 1 for 2 in his first at-bat. He ripped one down the left field line. In his second at-bat, he ripped one into center field. Van Meter, though, was able to have it read. You got to find a way to get Alexander out because you do not want to face Hunter Wilson again. And fools him badly, a swing and a miss there. As Alexander on that swing was flailing outside of the box. The 0-1 pickoff attempt in safely. The 0-1 comes. Ground ball, foul. Napier, this will be pitch number 70 of the game here with 2 down in the third inning. Grayson trails 5-0. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Alexander. And that is the half inning. We head to the bottom of 3. Edmonson 5, Grayson 0. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Cougs got to get the bats going. Since the bottom of the third inning, they trail 5-0, and it'll be Jaron Van Meter to lead off for Grayson. His first at bat, he worked a walk against Hunter Wilson. First pitch to Van Meter is high for ball number 1. Grayson trails 5-0 in this game. Edmonson scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second. Grayson had the bases loaded with 1 down in their last inning. Could not score a run. It's going to be one of those that you circle at the end of the game. Not getting anything really hurts. There's a swing and a miss from Van Meter. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Wilson probably sitting right now. We don't have an official radar gun here at Donley Field, but we got the radar gun that is my eyes, which is very unofficial. And I'd probably guess, we were talking about it in the press box here, probably in the mid-80s, which is probably one of the faster pitchers that Grayson County has seen this season. The 3-1. It's popped off left side out of play. And speed it's one of those like double-edged swords if you're a hitter. It's tough to catch up with, but if you make contact with it, speed only makes the ball go further. The 3-2 coming to Van Meter. Outside, and he works a walk, his second walk of the game. And it'll now be the Brescia commit, Camden Brothers, to hit. His first at-bat, he sent one a mile high into the air. And it was caught, though, by Alexander, the shortstop, on the outer edge of the grass. Van Meter, a large lead down at first, pickoff move, and it's thrown away, and he is going to get second base as Talley has to run into right field to go and grab it. Not a good throw. Van Meter advances on the pickoff move, and that works. Listen, if you're Grayson, you're down 5-0. You have to take any break that you can. But now this opens up the opportunity that you've got to find a way to put Van Meter in and score. You just got an error and a little bit of a gift. See what you can't do with it. Pitch to Brothers. Right down Broadway for called strike 1. And that'll probably be a pitch that Camden will want back. Little movement on it. Came back to the hitter, but it's one that usually Brothers will make contact with. Just a little high there. Brothers checks his swing, and the count goes to 1-1. Grayson trails in the game 5-0. They've won 3 straight games in 4 of their last 5 to make their record to 7-9. Van Meter off and running. The pitch is low. Throw down. Van Meter's safe as it was mishandled by the third baseman, Lick. And if it was not mishandled, Van Meter probably would have been out down at third. It was a called strike low. The count is 1-2. Van Meter gets the steal, and now you have a runner 90 feet away for Grayson. And if you're Brothers, you just got to get fly ball. Hit something to the outfield. The 1-2. He hits it to the outfield, but it is foul. These two teams will match up again tomorrow in Brownsville. When last time they played a regular season game there, as here comes the 1-2 to Brothers, is a fly ball hit back into deep center field. Alexander goes back to the wall. He'll make the catch. Digging and coming in to score is Van Meter, and Grayson County's on the board. They trail 5-1. Brothers did exactly what he needed to do. Hit it deep, and with Jaron Van Meter running, there was no question about that. It'll now be Landon Shirella in his first at-bat. He grounded out to the first baseman, Talley. But when these two teams played in Brownsville last year, it 21-17 was the final score. Called strike in the knees. Apparently they decided they wanted to play football instead. Because 21-17, that is not a made-up score or anything. It was depending on how you look at it, as Shirella fouls it off left side, it was a great game. Now, if you're like me and you like the game of offense, absolutely. Now, if you're one of those that comes to the ballpark and wants some pitching, it probably wasn't the night for you. Now, Edmonson County's ballpark does play small, so a lot of runs typically do happen there. The 0-2 coming to Shirella is grounded right back up the middle. Wilson, it's off his chest. Digging and coming in is Shirella. He beats it out. Bang, bang, play down at first. Shirella hustling all the way. Heck of a job by Hunter Wilson to recover and have a chance to throw the runner out. be an infield hit for Landon Chiarella. And it'll be Eli Watson with one down. One of the things Grayson County was doing in warm-ups before Edmonson County got here is they were working on bunting. Third baseman Lick is playing back. First baseman holding on as well. This would be Hunter Wilson's ball. You got to wonder if Eli Watson will be bunting here. He's not, but the pitch was outside for ball one. You know, it's always tough, and it's one of those philosophies is, you know, Watson, one of your better hitters. Do you bunt one of your best hitters? And it's putting the ball in play and making the defense make a play. The 1-0. Off and running is Chiarella, the throwdown, and he is safe. He beats it out. And it was a ball called as well. Chiarella hustling all the way. He gets the stolen base down to second. And now I think this takes the bunt off the play. Because I think now you're wanting to, it was actually 1-1, as it was a called strike instead to Chiarella, or rather to Watson. That pitch misses high, so the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Now I don't think you're bunting, since you have the runner in scoring position. Watson on the season does have 14 runs batted in. He tried to make it 16 there with a home run, that was a home run swing, but the pitch was low, and he swung over top of that. Wilson fools him badly. Large lead by Chiarella down at second. The break even. Swing and a miss. Watson down on strikes. For the second out of the inning, it'll now be Levi Rogers. Rogers in his first at-bat ripped one into right center field. Rogers has been hitting the ball really, really well over these last couple of games, including the last time here at Don Lee Field. He had a home run. Breaking ball outside. Didn't quite get enough bend. And it's 1 ball, no strikes. Chiarella stands at second. Grayson trails 5-1. They are on the board, though. Pitch called strike at the knees. The 1-1 to Rogers. Ground ball, foul. Big pitch coming here. Hunter Wilson. His pitch count's a little high as well. This next pitch will be pitch 64. And with these teams playing again tomorrow, both of these teams probably want to get into the other team's bullpen. The 1-2. Just misses high for ball number 2. Again, Wilson went to that outside breaking ball again, and he's just not getting quite enough bend on it to try and hit that outer edge. Big lead down at second for Chiarella. And Wilson's going to step off. Edmonson County wearing the navy blue pinstripe jerseys, all blue, with I can't tell if it's a red or white pinstripe. Ground ball to the first baseman, Talley. He'll take it himself. That's the inning. Grayson County does get 1, and we're through 3. It's 5-1 Edmonton. It's Cougar baseball on K105. Grayson County trails 5-1, top of the fourth inning. Hunter Wilson leads off for Edmonson. The first pitch from Gage Napier is a called strike. Edmonson County leads this game 5-1. Napier had a good third inning. Hopefully he can build upon that, as it's high for ball number 1 there to Hunter Wilson. Wilson and his 2 plate appearance. And he's also throwing the ball really well on the mound. The 1-1 is inside for ball 2. Napier misses low, just missing low and outside. And the count here goes to 3-1 to the freshman Hunter Wilson, his counterpart on the mound. Napier comes back and misses high. And Napier had a first pitch strike and 4 straight balls to Wilson. And it'll be Andrew Talley. He struck out swinging and singled in the game so far. Napier so far in the game for Grayson County. 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 run, all earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And there's a fly ball hit back into left field. Felty corrals towards the wall, towards the tarp, dives and can't make the play. If the tarp wasn't there, I think Felty would have had a play on it. But the ball bounced on top of and it was one of the things that there was nothing Felty could do unless he wanted to try and climb the tarp. It's just bad luck. That ball was hit exactly because it bounced on top of the wall. Here comes the 0-1 to Andrew Talley. That one's grounded foul. Napier's ahead in the count here at no balls and 2 strikes. And I think with Gage Napier here, this will be pitch 78. I think you got to go right at Talley. He's a good hitter, but you can't keep wasting pitches because that pitch count's getting high, and Grayson doesn't want to have to burn through the bullpen with a busy week coming up. The 0-2 misses outside for ball 1. I mean, you look, Grayson, they play this Edmonson County team again, and then they have McLean County, Hancock County, and Dawson Springs as well this week. It is a busy week for baseball. 1-2 is a fly ball hit into left center field. The center fielder, Van Meter, comes over, calls. That's the first out of the inning. Dakota Curtis hits now. He doubled off the wall in left field in his last at-bat. And first pitch from Napier is outside for ball 1. Napier has not been able to establish those outer edge strikes in this game. I mean, he's at 80 pitches right now, 64% for a strike, which is not terrible, but I think if you ask Gage, it's probably not where he wants to be. Fly ball straight away center field. Van Meter has it for the second out of the inning. Levi Meredith now to hit. He's 0 for 1. He walked and flew out to right. I haven't been able to finish this stat here on Levi Meredith. He's swung quick every time I brought it up. He's the number 96. Only 7 all-time players have ever worn the 96 in Major League Baseball history. Pitch low. And a couple of the names, some of the names I could tell you, and I classify myself as a pretty big baseball fan, you probably wouldn't recognize. But a few that you might, as the 1-0 comes, is a swing and a miss, pops out of the glove of Haycraft, and advancing on the play is Wilson to second. But Neftali Feliz, he wore it for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Tommy Hunter, who's a player as well, he wore it for 3 years. He's the only player since the late 40s to wear it for more than 1 year. High chopper to the third baseman Watson. It ends up hitting him in the face, and he's just going to have to eat it. It took a weird bounce off the edge of the infield, ends up hitting him. I think it might have hit him and hit his hat off. I don't know that it actually ended up hitting him in the face. I think it hit off the brim of his hat and knocked his hat off. And that'll put runners on first and second. Wilson does stay put at second. And Ty Brantley, the designated hitter, he's popped out to the first baseman brothers and walked in his 2 plate appearances today. And swing and a miss to Brantley. Grayson County trails in the game 5-1 against Edmonson County. Outside makes the count here to 1-1. The other district game that is happening today is Butler County Baseball. They are taking on Whitesville Trinity. I believe that game is in Whitesville today. We'll see if a score update comes through, and there's a swing and a miss to make the count go to 1-2. As when the Cougars played the Raiders in Whitesville last week, it was a great game. Great game that Napier ended up closing the book on with a strikeout with the bases loaded. Napier throws one to the backstop there to move the count here to 2-2, but more importantly, moves both of the runners up on the wild pitch. You got runners on second and third now. The break even. Ty Brantley only hits .222 coming into this game. That's high, and the count goes full. I mean, here's the thing, though, for Napier is you don't want to make a mistake pitch here. A walk, you don't want it, but you've got an open base. It's a lot better than trying to knock in those 2 runs, but I think you got to go at the hitter who's 0 for 1 in the game. The full count pitch. Cold strike on the inside corner. Great pitch from the freshman Napier to get out of the jam. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's Edmonton 5, Grayson 1. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. Grayson County trails 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be 7, 8, 9 in the order for Grayson. Andrew Butler to lead off. He had a little blooper into left field for a base hit against the pitcher Wilson in his first plate appearance, and that's a called strike for Wilson through his first 3 innings. 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. There's another called strike. Wilson last year against Grayson pitching 12 innings, 3 runs, 1 earned, 12 strikeouts. He's picking up right where he left off against Grayson County. And there is a swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to Andrew Butler for the first out of the inning. And it'll now be Hunter Felty to hit for the Cougs. Felty in his first plate appearance worked a walk against Hunter Wilson. First pitch there for Felty is fouled off behind the plate. Felty walked in what did load up the bases in that second inning that Grayson County did not score a run. Outside for ball one, to move the count here to 1-1. And that will be the inning that Grayson County is going to circle of not getting anything. And it's going to come back to haunt them. High and inside. Felty dives out of the way of that one. The count goes to 2-1. So we mentioned these two teams will play in downtown Browntown tomorrow night. And the 2-1 is popped off. And the count will go even, as that'll be a 6 o'clock start time from Brownsville. As a reminder, if you're making the trip down there, their baseball field is not at their high school. It's behind their 5-6 center, I believe is what it is. The break even. Outside, the count goes full. As it's a cool little ballpark, though, because it's different because the walls are like more of a fence. And by a fence, I mean like built out of wood. It'd be like one you'd build in your backyard. The full count. Pitch to Felty, check swing, called strike 3. Felty goes down on strikes, and it'll be Chase Bonnock to hit now for the Cougars. He struck out looking in his first at bat. As Bonnock in this game, as he is 0 for 1, and that was with the bases loaded that he struck out against with one down in that second inning, as we mentioned. And he swings over top of that and misses. Landon Haycraft stands in the on-deck circle for Grayson. Pitch called strike on that outside corner. And that's really been one of the differences in the game, is that Napier has not been able to establish that outside strike. Wilson has. And that's been a big difference in this game. The 0-2 is popped off in the infield. Actually goes a little bit further out, and the right fielder, Ashley, comes in to make the catch. We head to the 5th. It's Edmonton 5, Grayson 1. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. 5-1, Grayson County trails Edmonson County. Top of the 5th inning, we had 7, 8, and 9 in the order for Edmonson County, starting with Lane Ashley. Gage Napier, first 2 innings, not his greatest. Last 2, he settled into this game. His pitch count is at 90. As a reminder, I mean, it's not necessarily, 120 is the maximum for a pitcher, in case you say that's an actual rule. Now, I can't imagine that Jody Nutt would be breaking that, as there's a swing and a miss on the first pitch there to Ashley, and letting Gage Napier throw 130, 140 pitches if that wasn't the rule. But it is something to keep in mind as the game goes along. It's the 0-1 low. Now, with that, too, is the rule is starting the plate appearance, so he can finish the plate appearance. If he's at 119 pitches, theoretically, he gets to finish that plate appearance. So technically, I guess there is the rule that he could throw 130, 140 pitches if it's a heck of an at-bat. that is an opportunity out there. But again, that is the rule. It's not right when you hit 120. It's the play appearance. He fools Ashley badly there, and a pitch high swings over top of it, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. The break even is a pop fly right side. The right fielder Shirella calls off for the first out of the inning. Cam Lick will hit. He's 1 for 2 in the game. He singled to center and grounded out to third. And he pops one off into left center field. Van Meter curls over. That's the second out of the inning. Edmonson County's hitting the ball into the outfield, but it is dying out there on a chilly April evening. And it's helping him out. I mean, the temperature's beginning to drop as the game goes along. It'll be Alex Elkins to hit. First pitch high and inside. A little chin music there for Alex Elkins. The 1-0 is a swing and a miss. 1-1 here with 2 down in the top of the 5th inning. Napier goes inside again. Didn't quite get enough bend on that pitch. Napier settled in here over these last couple of innings. It was not a great start. Could have been worse. So he worked out of a bases-loaded jam as well. And that one just misses outside. Not by much at all. The 3-1. Fouled into what is technically the Edmonson County bullpen down that third base line. It might have landed on top of the net that guards it. You can tell, too, that the temperature has started to drop because we can't see from our vantage point here in the press box as the full count pitch comes. It's a ground ball caught by Watson right up over third. Throw to first. He got him. What a play to end the inning. Watson had it read the entire time, had to throw all the way across the diamond and gets the runner Elkins out at first. We head to the bottom of 5. Grayson County's got to get the bats working. They trail 5-1. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. It'll be the top of the order for Grayson in the bottom of the 5th inning. They trail 5-1. Landon Haycraft has grounded out to first and struck out against Hunter Wilson in the game. He shows bunt. It's inside, almost hits him. And goes to the backstop and rolls around. In fact, the backstop here at Grayson County, we don't necessarily have a camera that shows it to get it to you, but they have a new backstop as they've added some padding back there. As usually it just used to be brick, and that ball would fire off of that, and you never really knew which way it would go. Called strike on the outside corner to move the count here to 1-1. I'm not sure whether the padding helps or hurts, and it'll be something that Grayson now no longer really has the advantage of knowing how to read that brick wall. As it's fouled off behind the plate to move the count here to 1-2. It's one of the things that I love about the game of baseball is that there is so much that changes from ballpark to ballpark, especially it doesn't matter if you're in major league, minor league, or even high school. Fouled off one more time there from Haycraft, and the count remains at 1-2. As a Donley field here, you don't have much foul ground, and it's just a little different here. You know, Edmonson County, much more uniform in the outfield, but it is still just a little bit different as well. Breaking ball fools Haycraft. He swings over top of it, and that's the first out of the inning on the strikeout there by Landon Haycraft. For Wilson, his 6th strikeout of the game. Jaron Van Meter has come to the plate twice, and both of those plate appearances have ended in walks against Wilson. And first pitch is high, ball 1 there to Van Meter. Van Meter came around to score his last time on the sacrifice fly by Brothers. Just missing outside. The count here goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Wilson, the quick worker. Inside, and Van Meter ahead in the count here, 3-0 against Hunter Wilson. We touched on as we were going to break in the last half inning. As I said, was making more of the joke that there's a 4-pitch walk to Van Meter, his 3rd time on base in the game, all of them via the free pass. Camden Brothers to hit for the Cougars. He popped out to short and had a sacrifice fly to center. But it's always easy for us to tell from the press boxes to when the temperature really begins to drop here on these chilly April evenings by looking at the fans. And the Edmonson County fans are directly in front of us to our left. And in the last, inning or so, pitch high, and that's 5 straight balls thrown by Hunter Wilson. The blankets have started to come out for the Edmonson County faithful. And that's usually the sign that it is starting to get just a little bit chilly. The 1-1. Misses again for Wilson. 6 straight out of the zone for Wilson. His next pitch will be pitch number 89 of the game. Is it fatigue or is it a tighter strike zone? Van Meter off and running. Swing and a miss by Brothers. And he will have the base stolen, Will Van Meter. See, that's probably one of those where Curtis, the catcher, if he would have thrown, he could have had a case of a interference because Brothers was standing on the plate on that opportunity. Pitch low. 3-1 now. Wilson struggling to find the strike zone here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Edmonson County still has that 5-1 advantage. Van Meter a large lead down at second. Pitch to Brothers is called strike, a little bit below the knees. I think Camden Brothers thought he was going to get his first free pass of the game. Shirella stands in the on-deck circle. The full count pitch off and running is Van Meter. Ground ball, base hit left field. Van Meter will be able to crawl home. Camden Brothers with the RBI, and Grayson County now trails 5-2. Van Meter was off and running. There was going to be no chance at getting him at home. And Brothers put that ball exactly where he needed to. It was right where the shortstop Alexander usually was, but he was holding on Van Meter at second. And now it'll be Shirella to hit for Grayson. He grounded out to first and singled right back up the middle. It hit off of the pitcher Wilson, who honestly made a really good play to almost get Shirella running down at first. High again from Wilson. Wilson in this inning has thrown 16 pitches, only 7 for a strike. That's 44%. To put things into perspective, over his previous innings, his strike percentage, 72%, 70%, 62%, and 75%. That is drastically dropped in this inning. And there's a called strike. Breaking in there, the count goes to 1-1. And you could tell that was probably one of those situations where Jody Nutt said, let's make him throw you a strike. He's struggling to find the zone. Don't help him out. Brothers off and running. He's caught in between the base paths. They throw to Talley at first. He'll throw down to the second baseman, Meredith, throwing back to first. Wilson has the tag. He's out. Brothers picked off on the base paths. It goes 3-4-1 for the second out of the inning. And that is not what you wanted if you're a Grayson County fan trying to make a comeback. He was dead to rights out on the base paths as well, and you could tell he knew it right away. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Sharella on the pitch low and outside. And on that pitch, you could almost see a different pitcher there for Hunter Wilson. He's gotten that monkey off the back and immediately fires a strike in one of his best pitches of the inning. The 1-2. Ground ball to the first baseman, Talley. He'll take the short way, and that is the inning. We're through 5 full. It's 5-2. Grayson trails Edmonson. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back here to Grayson County High School. It's the 6th inning. Edmonson County leads 5-2 against the Cougs. And Tommy Burris is having a conversation, the home plate umpire, with the Edmonson County head coach, Michael Meredith. Not entirely sure what this conversation could be about. And it very well, knowing Tommy, one of the nicer guys of umpires that you're going to meet, it very well just could have been a, hey, how you been conversation. And they were just waiting on Tommy to get behind the plate, and we're ready to roll. Napier, 102 pitches here to start this 6th inning. And that's a fly ball hit back into deep left center field. Van Meter on this horse, and he'll run it down. That's what you get when you have speed out there in center field, and beating it and getting there is Van Meter for the first out of the inning. I mean, Van Meter, as soon as that ball was hit, he was off and running. Hunter Wilson, the pitcher, walked twice and doubled to right in his 2 plate appearances. Called strike, great pitch by Napier. Napier has really found his groove over these last couple innings. He's 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And over these last couple, he's been a lot better. No runs since that 2nd inning. The 0-1, called strike on the inside corner. Wilson did not agree with that call as he turns and looks at his head coach, Michael Meredith, who stands in the third base coach's box. Napier trying to roll off the momentum, low and in the dirt outside. Napier delivers the 1-2 to Landon Haycraft, the catcher, and it just misses high to make the count go to 2-2. I think the last thing you want here if you're Napier, you've got to make a good pitch. You don't want to have to walk and make yourself work any harder than you need to. And that pitch is low, and the count goes full here. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Full count to Wilson. Misses high, and Wilson works a walk, his 3rd of the game. He's been on base all 4 times. And looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner Down at first base, it will be once again Baxter to run for Wilson. And coming out is Buddy Hobby to talk. Gage Napier at 109 pitches, and they're going to call to the bullpen. We'll have a new pitcher into the game for Grayson County. We'll tell you who it is after this. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Landon Shirella is the new pitcher for Grayson County on the season. 5 games, 3 starts with 4 strikeouts and 6 walks. The changes in the field: Jaron Van Meter moves from center to left. Hunter Felty moves from left to right. Camden Brothers moves from first to center field. And Gage Napier moves from the mound to first base. First pitch swinging fly ball left field for Andrew Talley. It is well foul, but well out of here. But it was foul. I mean, Talley put a charge into that. He was looking at the first pitch there from the lefty Shirella. Shirella, different kind of pitcher from what Gage Napier has shown. He can come in from a lot of curveballs thrown here by Shirella. The 0-1. He goes to that curveball. It's in the dirt. Bounces away from the catcher, Haycraft. Advancing is Baxter. On the play to second on the pitch by Shirella on the mound. It's 5-2 Edmonson. Biggest thing for Landon Shirella, I'm sure that his coaching staff told him, is you want to make sure that when you come back to the dugout, it is still 5-2, and it's a ground ball right back up the middle. Diving play off the glove of Rogers. Brothers will fire in, and they're going to hold the runner at third. Really surprising hold down at third on the slow grounder through into center field. There'll be runners on the corners with 1 down for Dakota Curtis. That was a really interesting hold. Michael Meredith then very conservative, holding runners on in that third base coach's box. Pickoff move. In there safely is Talley. Edmonson County very aggressive on the base paths. Traditionally, they average 4.4 steals a game. Cold strike at the knees there. Dakota Curtis watches that one go by. Curtis in the game, 1 for 3 He's doubled, flown out, and struck out. Runners on the corners. The 0-1 just getting off of that was Curtis. He pokes it behind the plate. Head coach Jody Nutt's going to go run back and grab that. Toss it to the umpire, Tommy Burris. You don't see many coaches that'll go grab the foul ball. Usually they'll send a manager or something out to go grab it, or a 8th grader or freshman. Shirella delivers the 0-2. Outside, pops off the glove of Haycraft, but luckily it only scurried about 3 feet away. Runners on the corners. Talley is at first, Baxter at third. Curtis, the hitter for Edmonson. The 1-2 is a ground ball into right field. It's going to plate one, a slow grounder. Rounding and going into third is Talley. And what should have been a ground ball double play, Levi Rogers vacated second, and it makes it 6-2 Edmonson. That was a slow ground ball right at where Levi Rogers was standing. He went to go cover second. And when he did that, the ball went into right field. And what would have been, if not a double play, it would have been at least one out. Instead, it plates a run and pretty much puts us in the same situation that we were just in with runners on the corners. Levi Meredith to hit for Edmonson. He shows bunt, and they got a runner picked off. Throwing down to second. Back now to the second baseman, Rogers. Throwing down to second. He's safe at second. They end up not getting the runner. When they looked like they had him picked off, they were paying close attention to Talley down at third, who, if we're being honest, is not plus speed on the base paths, and instead, on the throw, the runner advances. Ground ball to third. Watson will go home. It's bobbled. Haycraft can't get it. The runners are all safe. Runners on first and third now with still one down. Watson did exactly what he should have done. Haycraft wasn't able to field it behind the plate. And the fielder's choice plates another run for Edmonson. They lead 7-2. Ty Brantley to hit. Called strike on the outside corner. Meredith will get second on defensive indifference. This is where Grayson's just got to take a deep breath. They're starting to unravel a little bit with a couple of mistakes. In that last half inning, you had a runner picked off, and you have had chances now to get 3 outs in this inning, and you've let them all, 4 outs in this inning, you could even say, and let them all go by. You had a double play ball, you had a pickoff move that you couldn't do it, and then you had a runner thrown out at home, and you got no outs on that play. And I'm sure Jody Nutt, he didn't have much hair on his head, but if he did, he'd be ripping it out. Because that's just, you would even classify as day one basic baseball. I'm going to say a swing and a miss, a bunt attempt by Brantley. He made an attempt on it, said the home plate umpire, Tommy Burris. You got runners on second and third. One down here in the 6th inning. Pitch, inside for ball 2. This is a lonely situation for Landon Shirella out on the mound because he's probably going to be the man for the remainder of this game because the Cougars have a busy week with games Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Pitch is low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The biggest thing, too, is Shirella with the Cougars is they really don't have that deep of a bullpen. They don't have a lot of pitching. Full count here with 1 down in the 6th. Pitch, swing and a miss, strikes him out. Does Brantley, goes down on strikes. And with 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning, it'll be Lane Ashley, who's 1 for 3. He singled up the middle, flown out to right, and popped out to right. Pitch, slow grounder, foul into the Edmonson County dugout. I mean, Landon Sherrill on the mound is doing everything he should. He's doing everything he should do. He's just not getting help from his defense. The 0-1. Ground ball to the shortstop, ball knock. He recovers, he throws. It's a low throw. Napier picks it to get out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Edmonson County now leads Grayson 7-2. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Seven to 2, Grayson County trails Edmonson County here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be 5, 6, 7 in the order. And the Cougars did nothing to help themselves in that last inning, as those will go down as earned runs against both Napier and Sherrill. By rule, they are earned runs, but it was you put a star by because your defense didn't necessarily by rule commit an error, but they sure as heck didn't help you out. His first 2 pitches are balls low to Eli Watson. He's 0 for 2 in the game against Hunter Wilson. He's grounded out and struck out. And that's low, and Wilson bounces that. Hunter Wilson, last inning, you saw him struggle to find the strike zone. He had been really at about 70% for a strike through the first 4 innings. Last inning, only 53% for a strike. This pitch will be pitch number 100 of the game. The 3-0 to Watson is a 4-pitch walk. It's inside. And the base has a runner on first base for Grayson for Levi Rogers. Rogers grounded out to first and doubled into right center field. Today he's 1 for 2. First pitch, swing and a miss. And that one was going to be a ball inside as well to Levi Rogers. And I get wanting to come out swinging because if he does, make contact, Wilson's trying to throw a strike. There's a ground ball up the middle. Bobbled and booted by the shortstop, Alexander, bouncing into center field. Grayson County gets a break on the error by the shortstop. Runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. There is your chance if you're Grayson. It'll be Andrew Butler. He's 1 for 2. He's struck out and singled. Jody Nutt, the head coach for Grayson, looks down. The infield third baseman Lick is playing incredibly deep at third. Let's see if they're going to lay a bunt down for Butler. That's exactly what they do, and Butler fouls it off into the Edmonson County dugout. Tell you, third base Lick, he didn't budge, and I get he has to cover third. They're going to make Wilson cover that large area. Now Lick's going to come in a little bit. That's a smart play there as he was playing way back, almost on the grass. You could tell Michael Meredith said, scoot in just a little bit. Showing bunt again is Butler, and he fouls it off behind the plate. Now Wilson does have plus speed out there, and it is not easy to bunt a 60-mile-per-hour curveball, it's sure as heck not easy to bunt, mid-80s, including reading it and then, making sure your fingers don't get caught too, because that doesn't feel good either. See if they keep the bunt on or not. They pull it off. Butler hits it into left field. No, it's a diving play. Bobbled, though, by the third baseman. Lick, he drops it, and that's going to be a double play for Edmonson County. Lick didn't catch the ball. He goes and steps on third for the first out. Levi Rogers didn't run because I guess he thought it was caught, and he's out at second. The ever-popular 5-4 double play. Hunter Felty swings and misses. In fact, by rule, that's, I guess, technically even a fielder's choice when you look at it. Felty 0 for 1 in the game. He's walked and struck out looking. He's behind 0-2 here at the bottom of the sixth. And he saws one off to the right side. Ashley, the right fielder, comes in and grabs it. And we're through 6 full. It's Edmonson 7, Grayson 2. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. Seventh inning we had Landon Chiarella out for his first full inning of work. It'll be 8-9-1 in the order for Edmonson County. They lead 7-2. First pitch swing, Lick, ground ball in the hole, diving play not made by Ballnock, and it goes into left field for a base hit. I'll tell you, it's been one of these games that, now Grayson has not done anything to help themselves in this game. Without question, they have made some not very smart plays. There's no question about that. And we're going to have a runner down at first base. It is going to be Jacob Logan, the freshman. He's 5 of 5 on steals. I believe this is going to be it's not technically a courtesy runner, but you get one player that can re-enter the game. So I'm assuming that Lick will then re-enter the game. It's one of those, it's not a courtesy runner, but is a courtesy runner at the same time. Alex Elkins will hit. He's 1 for 3 in the game. He shows bunt and bunts it foul right behind the plate. But, I mean, Grayson is going back to what I was saying is that, Edmonson County has caught some breaks in this game as they found the holes. They've had some hits, but at the same time, Grayson is not doing anything to help themselves. Now, Edmonson County's winning this game because they're winning the game. And by that, I mean that they've made the hits when they've needed to. But that last inning for Grayson is going to be one that they circle, and then the bottom of the second inning when they had the bases loaded with 1 out. And you think that when you're told those situations and you're -2 in those two situations, it's the difference in the game right now. The 0-2 coming to Elkins. Little blooper into shallow left field for a base hit. And again, Edmonson County, just these little bloopers, but they're finding the outfield for hits. And the lineup flips over towards Darren Alexander. He's 1 for 4 in the game, but he's gotten out his last 3 times. But he's been hitting it out to Jaron Van Meter in center. Previously was Jaron Van Meter. Now it's Camden Brothers. He's found it to center a couple of times. And we have timeout called. And I think we're going to have a call to the bullpen. I think we might have Hunter Felty coming into the game to be the new pitcher for Grayson. Landon Chirella's at 20 pitches, which does allow him to then pitch later on this week. Once you pass the 20 mark, that's when the rules start checking in. We'll take a break. Introduce you to Hunter Felty after this. This is Cougar Baseball on K10. Hunter Felty, the new pitcher for Grayson. Landon Chirella moves into right field. Felty on the year. 5 games with a 4.67 ERA, 8 strikeouts, and 3 walks. He's thrown into a heck of a situation here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the first pitch is inside for ball 1 to Darren Alexander. Felty has, we were talking about it here in the press box, it's not quite like true sidearm, but it's just like the arm slot quite above that. It's almost in between sidearm and 3/4, as it's a different arm angle that you don't always see. That time he went pretty much true sidearm, and it's outside for ball number 2. Felty, when he's pitched, he's thrown the ball pretty well for Grayson, considering that he hasn't played baseball in a couple of years. He, of course, was the starting quarterback for the Grayson County football team, turned in a good season for the Cougars. We have a balk called on Felty. I didn't see it, but didn't come set, I think is what Tommy Burris, the official, said. And we have a balk called, and you don't always see that. It's a balk is no, it would not be, because the pitch, it was called before the pitch was thrown, so it's no pitch at all thrown there by Felty. The 2-0. Right. No, I thought that one was right down the middle. Must have been just a little bit too low there from Felty to Darren Alexander. We do appear to have some movement in the Edmonson County bullpen, though, down that left field line. Felty delivers the 3-0, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Alexander, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for Hunter Wilson. That is not the situation you want to be in. Wilson, in his first at-bat, doubled over the right fielder Landon Chiarella's head. His last 3 at-bats has worked a walk. Looks like they're bringing the infield in a little bit, is Grayson. Bases loaded, nobody out. Pitch low for ball 1. We touched on the rule about pitch counts. It's 25. So if you throw less than 25 pitches in a game, you technically can pitch the next day. Once you throw 26, you have to have at least 1 day off, which means that they would be unavailable for tomorrow's game down at Edmonson County High School. There's a called strike on the outside corner. Felty, after 5 straight out of the zone, finds the strike zone against Hunter Wilson. 7-2 is the Edmonson County lead in this game. The 1-1. Called strike right down Broadway to Hunter Wilson. Felty back in the count to 1-2. Felty looks in for the sign from the catcher, Landon Haycraft. Huge lead down at second for Elkins. The 1-2. Outside diving stop made by the catcher, Haycraft. He keeps it in front of him and might have hit Haycraft on the thigh, because he did come up and kind of grimaced a little bit. Knowing what I know about Landon, tough kid. I mean, obviously, if you're a catcher, it goes without being said, you can't not be tough and be behind the dish. That's why, I mean, I could say that I'm left-handed why I wasn't, but that's also why I wasn't behind the dish. I would not be able to put up with it. The break even. Fouled off. We approach the 2-hour mark of this game here in the 7th inning. Edmonton leads 7-2 against Grayson. These two teams will be playing tomorrow in Brownsville. The break even from Felty. Ground ball to Bonnock. He'll come home for 1. Haycraft has it, and that's the first out of the inning. Smart play there by Bonnock to get the sure out at home, and even better by Haycraft to snag it. So Logan's out at home. Everyone else is safe. 1 down here in the 7th. And it'll be Andrew Talley, who's 2 for 4 in the game. He singled to left, singled to center, flown out to center, and struck out swinging. His 5th at-bat of the game. And a little breaking ball in there is low for ball 1, but good movement on the pitch there by Felty. Is that when it came out of his arm, I thought that one was going to, Talley was going to wear that one on the left shoulder. Felty delivers the 1-0. Called strike inside corner. Bases loaded here for Edmonson County. 7-2, they lead Grayson. Fouled off in the batter's box and ahead the count here, 1 ball and 2 strike. I don't blame Darren Alexander down at second, but to say he's taken a big lead down at second is a ginormous understatement. I mean, he is almost standing at shortstop every single time. He is taking a massive lead. I mean, and he's just going to see how far he can keep on going. Here comes the 1-2. Inside, it bounces away. Haycraft's going to have it. Play coming home. Felty has the tag. He's out. Great play by Grayson County. Haycraft was able to get there. Felty puts the tag on Elkins, and that is the 2nd out of the inning. What a job by Grayson County. Both of the runners do advance. On the play, though. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. For a game that has had some downsides for the Grayson County defense, there's a positive because you could not have done that one much better. The 2-2. Ground ball up the middle. Bonnock has it. Throws on to first. Napier on the stretch. And that is the inning. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Cougs going to need the bats to wake up if they want to extend this game. They trail 7-2. Cougar baseball on K105. Bottom of the 7th inning, the rally caps are on in the Grayson County dugout. They trail 7-2 here in this game. Hunter Wilson, he's on to try and finish what he started, and he's going to have Chase Bonnock, Landon Haycraft, and Jaron Van Meter. If he's going to have to get through those 3 if he wants to do it. He has 12 pitches to technically do it if he wants to finish it. Showing bunt is Bonnock. It's a bunt right to the pitcher, Wilson. He'll throw on to first for the first out of the inning. I don't mind the decision there by Bonnock to lay the bunt down. If he'd have put about 2 more feet to the right, it would have been a very tough play. But Wilson, that one was just about as easy as it gets, going off to his left. Lineup goes to the top of the order. Landon Haycraft, he struck out twice and grounded out, and first pitch swing pops it off right side out of play. Wilson is 110 pitches. The limit that he can throw in a game is 120, but as we mentioned, that is, he can finish an at-bat if he hits 120 in the middle of an at-bat. It's low for ball 1, moving the count to 1-1. There was a little movement in the Edmonson County bullpen during the last half inning. We weren't able to pick up a number as to who it might have been, as it's fouled off right side out of play, as it's dark and there's the backstop covering it. So there would have been no way for us to be able to pick it up. The 1-2, high. And you like this too from Haycraft. If anything else, force Edmonson County to bring somebody out of the bullpen. Especially since you play this team tomorrow. The break even in the dirt. And the count goes full. Jaron Van Meter, he's known 1 or 2 things about working clocks in this game. Or working at-bats, as he's had 3 straight walks. He stands in the on-deck circle. Camden Brothers in the hole, if necessary. The 3-2 to Haycraft. Ground ball to the first baseman, Talley. He'll step on first, and Grayson County is down to their final out. Been a lot of 3 unassisted for Grayson in this game. It's about the 4th one to Andrew Talley down there at first. Jaron Van Meter has walked all 3 of his plate appearances today. And Tommy Burris calls for Jaron to back off. He'll dust off that plate. Channeling the inner Bob Ross. Breaks out the brush. Paints the plate. Pitch is high for ball 1. I guess I should say the Owen Wilson, because I know that there's a new movie coming out that I think Owen Wilson is playing, who I don't think is technically Bob Ross, but it's clear that the movie is based on him. High ball 2. Seems like Edmonson County wants nothing to do with Jaron Van Meter. 117 pitches for Wilson. Ground ball right back to Wilson. In fact, it might have been a line drive. If not, he throws on to first. That's the ball game. Edmonson County defeats Grayson County 7-2. That is a final score. We'll come back, wrap it up after this. As again, your final, Edmonton 7, Grayson 2. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. Grayson County falls tonight to Edmonson County by a final score of 7-2. Your final line score for Edmonson County, 7 runs on 11 hits and 2 errors. For Grayson County, 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 errors. Your winning pitcher today is for Edmonson County, Hunter Wilson. He goes 7 innings, allowing 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts, and 5 walks. For Grayson County, the loss is saddled to Gage Napier. He goes 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 4 strikeouts, and 5 walks. Lane Chirella in relief through 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, and 1 strikeout. Hunter Felty threw 1 inning and walked 1 batter while allowing no hits and no runs. As far as your stats go for Grayson County, Camden Brothers, he had 2 RBIs in the game to pace the way for Grayson. For Edmonson County, Dakota Curtis led the way. He had 3 runs batted in. Hunter Wilson, Lane Ashley, Cam Lick, and Levi Meredith each had 1. Grayson County and Edmonson County will have a rematch tomorrow in Brownsville. Start time of that game will be 6 o'clock before they travel to McLean County, Hancock County, and host Dawson Springs. We'll be back here on May the 1st, which I do believe is a week from today on Monday, as the Cougar baseball team will take on Caverna. Official start time of that game will be 5:30. You'll be able to watch it right here on K105 Digital Productions before having the district returning here to Grayson May 8th and May 9th, as they will host the Bears from Butler County. That'll wrap up our coverage tonight. I want to thank the K105 Digital Productions crew for their hard work. Your camera operator was Trey Cook, and your director was Jaden Kinney. On a night where Grayson County falls by a final score of 7-2 to Edmonson County, this is Sam Gormley saying, so long, everyone.